This is Radio TV Phono Nut, and just 2 or 3 days ago I said no more black plastic or silver plastic crap TVs. I've got a pile of them sitting behind me over here that I can't do anything with. And what do I go and do? We were coming home from somewhere, and this 27-inch Toshiba TV from October 2006, actually it's a rebadged Orion, but it was sitting by a dumpster, and I thought about it a minute, but I went ahead and loaded it up. Unfortunately, someone cut off the power cord, but I'd almost bet you there's probably nothing wrong with the TV. But just the other day, I told somebody, no more TVs like this. You know, I take them. Most of them were given to me. Well, let's see. Some of them were given to me. I got 4 of them that I got from a church that were technically free, but I made a $20 donation to them. And then I've got a couple that I gave the thrift store like $5 a piece for. And then when you try to turn around and sell them, nobody's interested in them. And I can tell you the phrase retro gaming in the ad title doesn't work in my part of the country. Now, I don't know if this set here has a digital tuner in it or not. It would be nice if it did. It does say Theater View SD on it. I think it was March 2007 when it became a requirement for all TVs to have a built-in digital tuner in addition to a regular NTSC tuner. But I want to say a few months prior to that, they were required on anything 27 inches and larger. And then in March of 2007, they had to be on anything that had a tuner in it, whether it be a TV, VCR, or whatever. Well, the VCR manufacturers at that point did something tricky. Instead of adding a DTV tuner, they just removed the tuner altogether and sold them as tuner-free VCRs. But we're going to slap a cord on this and see what happens. I'm not going to spend much time or money on it. Most of these sets with the Orion built chassis in them, and there were many of them. The majority of them had vertical sweep issues or power supply issues. Usually the vertical sweep issue started with lines and fold over at the top of the screen, and then when the owner would continue to use the television, it would eventually burn up the vertical IC, and that was all caused by a dried out, I think it was 100 microfarad, or it might have been 220 microfarad cap in the vertical circuit that, as its condition worsened, it would cause the IC to overheat and blow it up and take out a couple other things too. And then I've seen others that a power surge would run in on and blow out the chopper transistor in the switching power supply. But like I said, if it don't take much, we'll get it going. If it takes more than some elementary TV repair, then it's probably going to get parted out. Alright, we have the back removed here along with a little bit of unsolicited help. I guess he wants to learn about TV repair too. Yeah, this was the chassis I was thinking about, and I believe this may have the digital tuner because it's been a while since I've seen this, but I think the non-DTV sets didn't have this little assembly here off to the side, while the digitally tuned sets had this little assembly off to the side here. But by the time this set was made, a lot of manufacturers were outsourcing production of their TVs, especially when it came to the CRT sets, because it was cheaper just to hire a company like Orion or Funai or whoever just to build the set and slap their name on it than it was for them to build it themselves in-house. But fortunately, this doesn't look to be overly cruddy, so maybe that's an indication that it hasn't had a ton of hours on it. Yeah, this is either going to be a digital tuner add-on or a picture-in-picture module. I don't know which, but I suppose we'll find out soon enough if we can get the set to fire up. Alright, we have the power cord soldered in, and we observed correct polarity, black going to the hot, and then white is neutral. The only issue is the original cord had this built-in strain relief thing that's designed to fit right there in that little slot on the cabinet. This new cord doesn't have that, so if we get the TV working, we'll have to come up with a creative way to fix that, where it won't pull out of the chassis and possibly break the board if that cord gets stepped on or pulled or whatever. But first, let's worry about getting the TV working. Well, I heard the power supply ramp up whenever I applied AC, so let's press the power button and see what happens. Okay, we have high voltage. Okay, digital channel signal. Okay, we have a raster, and this thing apparently does have a digital tuner built in it. Let's turn it off, get an antenna on it, program it, see if we get anything. Well, if I'm lucky, this will already have something programmed into it. But I don't think that's going to be the case today. Don't tell me this is one of those sets you've got to have a freaking remote to program anything on it. But I feel like somebody either cut the cord off of this just to make sure somebody wasn't going to just pick it up, take it home, plug it in, and use it. Or they felt like they might need a power cord for something down the road, so they cut the cord off of the TV that they seemed worthless. But I'm not going to complain about that. Years ago, I knew a couple that had career yard sales every Saturday, and they were all the time going to other yard sales and the various dump sites to pick up stuff to sell. And one thing that made his blood boil was when he found a TV or whatever at the dump, and the power cord had been cut off of it. And one time I told him, I said, "Look, I'm just happy when I find a TV, and that's all that's been done to it. I can't tell you how many TVs I found where the back had been bashed in and the yoke robbed off of it and the picture tube busted and any other copper they could get was cut out of it." So I said, don't complain because the power cord's cut off. If that's all you've got to worry about, then you're in good shape. And if you don't feel comfortable with replacing a power cord yourself, I can certainly replace it for you, but don't be complaining about you found a TV with a whacked off power cord. I wished every TV I found that's all that was wrong with it. And as it was seen, this set does not have a menu button on it, and that just really galls me. Well, there's a bunch of channels programmed into this thing, but it don't appear to be anything over the air that we can use. And we've either got a vertical sweep issue or this TV has an aspect ratio setting that has it set to widescreen, but we'll have to look at that further later. Alright, the only thing usable we have is RF channel 3. We cannot access the AV jacks or anything else without a remote. Common problem on these sets is the vertical pump-up capacitor. It's 100 microfarad, and it got so that if I got one of these sets, I'd change that capacitor regardless of what it came in for. Like I think I already said earlier, the initial symptom is lines and fold over at the top of the screen, but usually the owner would keep watching the TV until the condition of the cap worsened to the point where it caused the vertical output IC, that chip right there, to short, and then you lose all vertical sweep. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of this cap before it causes us problems. Alright, the original cap is reading 87 microfarad, which is low. And here's our replacement, which is a brand new one. bumping in around 96, 97. This meter, I think, has got some issues, but yeah, this is a 50 volt cap. The one that was in there is a 35 volt, which is a little bit underrated. ESR, the new cap, near 0. And ESR of the old cap, not too good, as you can tell. So this one would have caused some problems sooner rather than later, I'm afraid. And there's the new cap installed, that blue one right there. For those of you who may have one of these sets, you might want to change that cap, regardless of what other issue you happen to be servicing it for. Just go ahead and get rid of that capacitor. And probably would be a good idea to resolder the pins on the vertical output IC while you're at it, because that's another common failure problem on all later model CRT sets, cold solder joints on the vertical output IC. Alright, as far as the power cord, I do not have the proper type with the little doohickey thing to go in this little knot, so I just tied a knot in the power cord, put a tie on here to hold it in position, and when we put the back cover on, that ought to prevent it from pulling out, and that's about the best I can do with this right now. So for right now, we're going to button it up, wait until we get the remote, and hopefully there won't be any more circuit faults that we have to contend with. And I think this is another one that's got tack switches that are a little flaky. I just had to press the volume up kind of hard to get it to go up, and then at one point it changed channels, but I'm not going to worry about that. We're going to get a remote, and that's going to be the end of it. Now I'm going to say something about badge engineered or relabeled products. It's nothing new. It dates back to the earliest days of radio, but it can be very confusing to people who don't know better. For example, somebody buys this set, a Toshiba, thinking they're getting a genuine Toshiba television, but what they're actually getting is an Orion with the Toshiba badge on it. And do I need to get this on another channel again? Thought it was local news time. It's not quite there yet, so we'll put it back on the news channel. But anyway, what I was saying, somebody buys a Toshiba, but they're not really getting a Toshiba television. Now, an Orion is better than a Funai, but it's still nowhere near as good as what a genuine Toshiba-built television would have been. I mean, they're not horrible sets, but they're nowhere near as good as the older genuine article would be. But like I said, by the time this was made, a lot of manufacturers were farming out the production of their televisions to one or two manufacturers, and that was it. I mean, 2006, that was getting a bit late in the CRT era. I think the newest one I've seen was probably from around 2009, maybe 2010, and it was one of those 27-inch Sansui branded sets that Walmart sold that had basically the same chassis as this set's got in it. In fact, I remember back around 2010 or so going in Walmart, and they had a whole bunch of those Sansui sets on one of the end caps on clearance. I don't remember what the price was, but they were pretty cheap. I think those were the only CRT sets they had in the store at the time, and they were trying to get rid of them. But like I said, that was around 2010, maybe 2011, but no later than that.
The prime suspect in a double murder in Scott County was arrested today here in Lauderdale County. And we have the latest.
Yeah, he killed the woman and her child, 7-year-old child, and set the house on fire.
Plus, we have the new details about revamping Park.
There I go, hitting the channel button.
Park.
This thing's got tack switch trouble, because when I hit the volume button, it shouldn't change channels, but I'm not worrying about that.
From downtown Meridian, always local, always on. This is WTO.
I'm noticing a little purity issue here on the left-hand side.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. We do begin tonight with breaking news as a manhunt for a double murder suspect in Scott County has ended here in Lauderdale County. Chief Deputy Ward Calhoun tells News 11 tags were run in connection to an address Salento James Fulham Jr. has used in the past, an address in which Scott County deputies shared with Lauderdale County deputies. Fulham was arrested by Lauderdale County deputies in the 8300 block of King Road this afternoon. Fulham was wanted in the deaths of a mother and her son who were killed and left inside a burned home. The victims were Zena Williams and her 8-year-old son Zacchaeus Williams, who police say were killed on Wash Drive in Forest around 9 o'clock.
If he's proven to be guilty, he should fry immediately. No appeals for the next 20 years, feeding his ass, fry him, and be done with him. But anyway, I feel like this little purity thing happened when they disposed of the TV. When I found the set, it was tipped over on its back, and I feel like when they took it out to the dumpster, they probably didn't sit it down gently. It probably took a pretty hard fall there, so the average person probably wouldn't really notice it,
Palestinian territory
but,
stretching as far as the
it is definitely there. I'll try a degaussing coil and see if that'll take it out, but probably not. It's just as good as it's going to get. Here's a radio I ordered off of eBay, a little Zenith from 1968, one of the last tube models. You can see how well they packed it. I fully anticipate this to be smashed or have something broken on it anyway.
Dew point creeping up a bit into the mid-50s, so that's going to help keep our temperature.
Well, what is that in the bottom of the box? Is that a piece of plastic?
Temperatures will slowly fall off, but we'll be in the upper 60s.
Yep, that's a piece of plastic. Okay, so how much other damage am I going to see?
For tomorrow, don't forget the umbrella. We have a pretty good chance of rain for our Wednesday affiliated with that low in the Gulf of Mexico, so we'll talk about that.
I guess that's where it came from, right there.
End of the week before we really cool off by the weekend. I'll have all the details coming up.
I don't recall seeing this piece busted out in the description, because if I had, I probably wouldn't have bought the radio, even though it was cheap. And all I'm finding in the box is this little piece here, which obviously is not this whole piece here. Chassis 5M04, that was a chassis that was first introduced in 65, but our model number is a Y114W, which indicates 1968 model year. Yeah, bad filter cap. Okay. Alright, here's that radio on eBay. As you can plainly see, the corner is not busted out, and it doesn't look like the top is all stained like mine is. I can't imagine what caused that. And here's another unboxing. This is supposed to be a tone arm in this big box. When the mail lady dropped off the packages, I figured the little box would have been the tone arm and the big box would be the radio, but no, it looks like they got it reversed. This one came out of Canada, by the way. I think our Canadian friends may be more conscientious than our U.S. friends are. I think this is the head shell and the mounting screws and all that kind of stuff. Let me get this out of here. Yeah, they wrapped this tone arm up and really well. Alright, so this is a Reco Cut 120 tone arm.
This is the bomb shelter.
It's a mono tone arm. It's fitted with a General Electric variable reluctance magnetic cartridge. I'm going to put this on that Reco Cut turntable that I recently showed you in another video. And it's going to be for mono use, mainly 78s and older 45s and such. But that turntable is actually already cut for drilled for a tone arm like this, and so we can put that on there and make the turntable more original looking. And this in this bag is the tone arm rest and the mounting screws. This I think was originally mounted to a wooden motor board, so I'll have to swap those screws out for bolts where I can bolt it to that metal turntable, but I'm much happier over the arm outcome than I am the radio. I can't imagine where the other broken piece of that radio went unless it fell out of one of the cracks in the box with the post office, who knows. But I think I am going to file a claim on that. I mean, I've got enough broken crap as it is. I don't want broken crap. If I wanted a broken radio, I'd have, you know, but it's just the principle of the thing. I bought a radio that was intact. I ought to receive one that's intact, and I would have, had they gone to any effort at all to properly pack the thing. Even took the back off the radio to see if the piece somehow made its way in the back of the radio somehow, and I'm not finding it, so I can't imagine what happened.
It was their son Evie who saved them. Take a look at the level of damage.
See, it's got a Japanese speaker in it. Alright, those tubes are date-coded 1967, which is not surprising because Zenith, they were the last tube holdout. They were still offering a few tube radios in 68 and 69, but a lot of those later tube radios that Zenith offered were, well, they were just an effort to use up leftover parts from previous model years. So that's what they were doing, using leftover chassis parts and cabinets from 66, 67 model years, and then model numbering them as 68, Y prefix, and Z, 69 prefix. So, yeah, I think I am going to file a claim on this. You know, if I could... The dirt on the radio, I'm not so much worried about that, but I am worried about this, and I can't find the other piece. I'm also wondering if maybe he had two radios and sent me the worst looking one, because this dirt stain and crap wasn't pictured in the listing. Another possibility for the missing part, the missing piece, is the box might not have been taped well, and somewhere along the way the part might have fallen out, and then the box was retaped somewhere en route. I noticed the top part of this box, when I opened it, was taped a lot better than down here at the bottom, so that makes me think this might have been a retape after the little plastic piece fell out. Now, had I been able to find the other piece and have been able to have epoxied it back on and it not look too badly noticeable, then I probably wouldn't have said anything about this. But can't find the other piece, and like I said, it's just the principle of the thing. It was packed lousy, and I've got enough broken up, beat up junk as it is. Don't need to be buying any more. So I'm going to file a claim on this, and if he wants it back, as long as he's willing to pay the return postage, then I'll put it back in the box in which it came out of, and he'll get it back. Okay, I found the other piece. It was wadded up in this poor excuse for packing material that they used, and it looks like I can put it back together, so I might give them a reprieve since I found the pieces, but I probably still should contact them and let them know and make them aware that I'm letting you off this time, but the next person might not let you off, so you might want to take better care in packaging these things. Alright, I got those pieces super glued back on there. Now how well it'll hold, I don't know, but at least now it can sit on the shelf and not look so obvious that it was a Humpty Dumpty radio. So I guess next we'll pull it apart, replace the filter cap, and we ought to be good to go. Now I had the brown version of this radio years ago, and one of the ones I got rid of, and for what it was, it performed pretty good, and at the same time they offered a 4-transistor AC operated table AM radio that I think used the same knobs or very similar knobs as this one. I think both radios had about equal performance, I don't know what the price difference was between the two, but I'm sure the tube version was a few dollars cheaper. And one thing you got to remember is, even though a few dollars doesn't seem like much now, even in the late 60s, a few dollars meant something, meant a lot more than it does today. Alright, while we wait on that remote to come in, I suppose we'll fix this radio. So let's get the chassis out of it and get to work on it. Here's the underside of the chassis. As you can see, not much to it. Most of the capacitors are either ceramic disc or comprised in this couplet here. The only capacitor of any concern is that big orange thing right there, and we're about to remove that. Alright, this is a 6020 microfarad, good old General Instruments capacitor with a 66 date code on it. We'll put a terminal strip on here and put our new caps on the terminal strip and call it a day. Alright, I had to relocate because it's starting to rain a little bit. And this tube is date coded the 50C5, by the way. This one's date coded the 30th week of 66. It has a 274 EIA code on it, which means that RCA made this tube for Zenith. Right now I'm just trying to clean the chassis up a little bit, and I've already sprayed the volume control. I'm going to spray the tube pins and get those a little bit cleaner, and then we'll put it back together because I'm so confident that this is going to work. Alright, that takes care of that.
741 Gold. Send you a free digital dollar survival kit. Learn how you can get up to $1,000 in free silver today. Don't wait. Call Advantage Gold at 800-741.
Invite you to come worship. Proud sponsor of mornings. Down home, down street. It's this time of the year, but it's also the busiest. So this time around, get HelloFresh. Treat yourself to the best of season's flavors.
All right, it's working.
It's simple. HelloFresh does the shopping and planning.
Now we'll just wait on the remote for the TV to come in, and hopefully all we'll have to do with that is just change the settings and reprogram it, and it'll be good to go.
They're the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings.
Oh, Blinds.com is the GOAT.
The GOAT.
11. Sunday night services at 6 o'clock, and the Wednesday night midweek services at 7 o'clock. Hepzibah Baptist Church, 3127 County Road, 252 Shabuah. Invites you to come worship with them. A proud sponsor of Mornings with Miller.
College football, if it's a stock, buy it. So yeah, this is a big thing for me. Here's what I don't like. What I don't like is the left and the right for your down home, down the street. $1 level rate for 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rate. Praise 95.9 FM, 910 AM. 0433. Remember, 800-773-0433. Sample rate quotes based on preferred non-smoker underwriting exam required to qualify. That number for term busters is 800-773-0433. 800-773-0433.
Hi, this is Rhett Rasmussen of BestHotGrill.com. We make the amazing Solaire infrared gas grill.
1390. That's 601-693-1390 with your answer. Remember, your answer must also include your name, address with zip code, and phone number. Any answer without this information will be disqualified. With the correct answer, you have a chance to win $100 worth of groceries from Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville. Play today and win from Piggly Wiggly and WMER, your good news gospel radio station.
It's time you get the benefits you deserve.
Because of NIL. Now, they don't...
You get a shiver in the dark.
Mike Gallagher.
Morning, Mike. For those that are anti-gun, remember the police are not proactive, they're reactive. So you better be able to defend yourself.
All right, we just got our remote for the Toshiba TV from eBay, and it looks like a new one that's still sealed. But we don't care if it's new or used as long as it works. So let's get in it and put some batteries in it and go try it. Alright, batteries installed. Do we have a signal? Yes, we do. Alright, let's go try it. Alright, menu. That's better. Alright. Audio setup. TV cable. Let's put it on TV. Good. Now auto program. Alright, now we just sit and wait. And I will kill the camera while that's happening. Alright, antenna connected to TV. Let's see what happens. Alright, it powered it up. That's good. Now let me get my chair. We'll bring up a menu and see what happens. And I think this is a used remote because it's got some little markings on it, nothing terrible, but like I said, I don't care. As long as it operates the TV, that's all we're worried about. Now we're almost to the end.
It's under review. They're going to look at it.
Alright, now we have a filled out screen.
I mean, you talk about a swing play.
Let's see what all we got here. That must be 11-1.
Until the second half, they
11-2. 11-3. 11-4.
Just need the oxygen
11-5.
the doctor prescribed for him.
11-6. 14-1.
Short term.
14-2, 14-3, 14-4,
for a second ballot, and that was basic.
14-5, 15-1, 15-2. Yeah, this is a low-powered thing. Let me play with this.
Anything else?
15-3.
She was mean, difficult.
15-4.
Those are things on tables you may need.
15-5, or 24-1, I should say.
And hair color to eliminate gray in 5.
Yeah, real crappy signal here.
In color.
Probably that and a real crappy tuner in this television. Alright, 24-1, 24-2.
I'm 54 and was a smoker, but quit.
And this is what infuriates me about digital. In the old analog days, at least you could get something. The picture might not be the clearest in the world, but at least you could get something. With digital, when it drops below a certain threshold, that's it. Alright, 14-3 or 24-3. 24-4. Maybe. You see what happens?
Those in need deserves puffs, indeed.
24-5, 24-6.
No, it doesn't.
24/7, 24/8.
I try to explain that people don't.
30.1, 30.2, analog 3. Let's see what happens when I press this picture size button. Yeah, that fills it out. Analog 4, and back to 11. So this TV's ready to go.
And as governor, I won't have all.
Yeah, I can say the tuner in this set's really not all that hot. As you can see, it just freezes up. That's it. Remember a friend of mine, I don't remember what brand of flat screen it was he bought, but he ran into this problem with his, and he ended up just connecting a conventional DTV converter box to it because the external digital tuner was better than the one that came in the television. And it's a bit windy today, and that seems to have an effect on it too. See, we just got nothing.
These are the greatest underwear experience of all time. Love your.
Walk in front of the TV, and it just blacks out and goes away.
Remember when? Number.
Yeah, I can see me trying to sell this to somebody and trying to demo it, and it sits here and does this crap. And it's technically no fault of the TV as far as any faulty components. It's just a crappy tuner in this set. Now before I demo this to anybody, we're going to have to get an antenna that's a little better than what we've got and have it in a position where it will not be doing all of this crap. But I can promise you, if somebody buys this set and takes it to a rural area and connects rabbit ears to it, they're going to be badly disappointed. Ooh, we got mail order underwear now.
Shaughnessy hammock underwear will end your adjustments once and for all. You don't realize you need new underwear until you try these. No more sweating, sticking, or chafing. These are the greatest underwear experience of all time.
Oh, wow.
Or they're free. Upgrade to hammock underwear at Shaughnessy.com. Have you ever felt leg pain, restlessness, cramps, tingling, swelling?
So now we'll have to talk about our hammock underwear from now on.